Happy Monday, everyone. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Welcome to the Monday Detroit Lions on SI Lone Wolves podcast. In a couple hours, I will head over to Allen Park and watch Monday practice. Dan Campbell will speak to the media today, and then followed by a couple hour practice in front of fans. Interesting. Monday night. It's the toughest night, too, because you got the information that you want to relay from Dan Campbell. And then you have a practice to monitor around 6 o'clock at night. That's probably going to take you 90 minutes to 2 hours. So that's till 8. And you talk to the players. Won't walk off the field probably till 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then we'll present a couple of stories after that. What happened at practice and maybe a player story. So it's our longest day. Tough day, but a fun day. So today I just want to preview a little bit of what I want to hope to see, what you guys want to see. Hopefully out there, what do you guys want to see? If you're in here, what do you want to see at the practice tonight? I am of the assumption that basically because there's a game Thursday, that a lot of the players that you would see Thursday are not going to be practicing as heavily tonight. So a lot of starters, Goff, Gibbs, Jamo, St. Brown, great opportunities to handle what everybody's looking for. So I think that's a great sign for practice today for everybody to check out. So I'm excited to see what is going to end up happening tonight at practice. Drop your questions. We'll take questions all throughout. Thanks, everybody, for your continued support of the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast. Some things to get into regarding Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw. It's interesting because Terrion Arnold took to social media and highlighted maybe what Dan Campbell is going to be asked about to confirm this evening. So we'll find out. And I'm going to give my opinion on it because I'm not really a fan of it because it leads to a lot of speculation earlier than maybe people would want. People are talking about it. I'll share what Terrion said and discuss what the implications are. Does that mean the Lions have to go back out and get do the Lions have to go out and get another defensive back? It might mean that based on what happens. But nothing has been official yet. I would expect in the next couple hours some news to be revealed regarding Ennis Rakestraw. It's unfortunate because it's a player that has not been able to stay healthy as of yet, consistently enough to be available. It's unfortunate, and then the message that was sent maybe is a little bit cryptic. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out with Terrion Arnold and with Ennis Rakestraw as well. When I look at it from the perspective of what Terrion Arnold does, it's fair. I mean, you want to show support. You want to be able to, share support for your brother and things like that. So potentially the news has been made. Maybe Terrion does know something. But, when something goes down, you want to be able to, not maybe set off alarms. You maybe want to wait for the news to come out first. But first and foremost, let's check in with what Terrion did say. He went on social media and shared support, and we'll pull it up here, and just basically, posting support for his close friend and teammate. And it's very fair. I mean, look, it's a social media age. It's hard when you got your phone in your hand all the time and you have information and you want to show support and solidarity. But I just think that, based on patterns, it lends to some criticisms and some critiques. And here's why. Let me get to the post where he shared it. And it's like, I understand on one side where you want to show solidarity for your teammate. You want to be somebody that, hey, show support. But let's take a look at what was shared by Terrion Arnold. And this was posted earlier today. Everyone picked it up. Everybody saw it. And it's Terrion Arnold here. I'll blow it up. It's Terrion Arnold going online and posting a photo of his teammate and says, This was maybe around noon, 11 a.m. ish. Stay up, number 9. It gets greater later. How are we supposed to interpret that? How do you guys interpret that? What does that mean? Stay up, it gets greater later. So now everybody's going to look at that and automatically assume the worst. And let's start with when Ennis went down with the chest contusion. People panicked and they got a little bit concerned. And he went on social media and calmed everybody down. He said, calm down, everybody. Ennis did. Now, this injury, there's no comment from Ennis. What does this mean? Stay up, it gets greater later. We're going to find out pretty soon from Dan Campbell or if it comes out. But my humble opinion is I would be opposed to this because you're sharing information, you're opening up the discussion that people are going to have regarding your teammate. And look, there's nothing wrong with, giving a thumbs up and a proud gesture for your teammate. I get it, but just wait. So I wonder if Terrion knows that, these things get released quickly and Dan Campbell confirms it. I mean, it's going to be one of the first things asked. So you won't have to wait too long. You'll find out a general update or maybe even a more specific update this evening when Dan Campbell speaks to the media before practice. I'm just of the opinion, wait for the news to come out. It comes out. No need to activate all afternoon people's speculations. Drop your questions. We'll be here probably for the next hour or so, depending on the seriousness of your guys' questions. Doing it now because the Lions have practice 6 o'clock tonight. We'll head out there after this. My mom's name is Booner. Happy Monday, Doc. Happy Monday to you. Nighthawk Express, Steven, thank you for your early comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, retweet on X as we're broadcasting live every single day. And then tomorrow, we'll probably hit an early broadcast because there's practice tonight, ends at 8-ish, talk to the players. So we'll try to recap it early on Tuesday, get all your questions in. So maybe 10 a.m., depending on when I wake up. I don't know. You guys tell me. Drop in the comments or here. You like 9 a.m., 10 a.m.? Probably 10-ish. I'll get on here and recap everything that I saw from tonight's practice. But I'm of the opinion that Terrion probably should just waited until the news came out. Wait, let the news come out regarding the severity of it. But what do you guys think of the post? Should Terrion have made it? Did you guys see it? You can go check out our social media channels and check out the story at Lions on SI as we talked about it. That Terrion Arnold posted, it's greater later. Let me hit some of your questions here. Nighthawk Express gets in. Do you think the usage of Gibbs and Monty in the backfield do you think the usage of Gibbs and Monty in the backfield at the same time is it more driven by Johnny Moe or Gibbs being able to handle more in his third year? I think it's the idea when you have two good players, you want to use them. You want to be able to confuse the defense. And also, too, you can check out Dan Campbell was asked specifically about it in our very last story. Nighthawk, you can also watch that if you're on your phone. You can go check out Lions on SI. I added a couple little bit of nuggets from what Dan Campbell said about that. They call it Pony 21, 2 running backs. And he's like, yeah, Green Bay uses it. It's something that Dan was asked about specifically. I think it's driven by the fact that you can exploit some defensive weaknesses. It also it gives you additional information by what the defense is doing when you have a couple of running backs out there, by how potentially the defense lines up. Zone, man-to-man, what kind of coverage potentially that could be a pressure. So I think it's both a combination of Johnny Moe and Gibbs being able to do a lot more in coming out of the backfield. So great question. Dan Campbell said, it's something that they want to consider, but there's also factors that need to be explored with the blocking, with responsibilities, putting a lot more on somebody's plate. And basically, there's a yin and a yang. You guys tell me. I'm very curious about that. And Christian has always said, play 2 running backs and do it a lot more. But there is a drawback in that the Lions are trying to keep both running backs healthy and extend the opportunity that they have in the postseason. Because the more you're out there, the more you can have a chance to get nicked up, banged around, blocking. It's just one of those deals where you have the potential to increase the likelihood of injury when you have two guys out there. So I like the idea in time, and I do think that they will utilize that. And check out that story. I posted the highlight of Jahmyr Gibbs. You can see his route running and his ability to catch the ball. That's a ball that he showcased he can catch. You can see the highlight, and then you can see the nugget from Dan Campbell because he was asked about it on Sunday. Thank you, Nighthawk, for getting in. Anybody that leaves a super chat, super thanks. Be as low as $2. You get to the front of the line. Get your question answered. And I do think for those that gave, thank you. Some of you think I'm humbled that you would acknowledge the work I'm doing by, handing us a super chat and highlighting your post. It means a lot. And so for some of you, you've asked, and I think I've done it. Please go check and confirm. I think I pushed the button to make closed captioning available on the videos if you push the button. I think I've effectively done it. I didn't even know it was that simple. I just saw finally, because I'm looking at analytics. I'm looking at who the regions people are coming in, stuff like that. And so I saw the subtitles. I pushed the button. I think it's available. So thank you for those that tipped and said, hey, get after it. Mr. Lupe. Hey, Doc, I'm in a meeting, but wanted to make sure that I swung by to say hello. Mr. Lupe, that means a lot. Cancel the meeting. Tell everybody, look, break time. I need about half hour to check in with my guy. I'll come back. There's no meeting more important than Lions on SI, Detroit Lions recap. But you get a pass, Mr. Lupe. Just one time. I appreciate you so much. That does mean a lot. John Hughes always supports. Doc, what up, though, my guy? Ready for the daily training camp update? Well, John, the practice did not happen. Tonight's the night practice. So today's the preview, the appetizer. Practice happens from 6 to 8. We'll do a recap story. And then tomorrow around 10 a.m.-ish, I'll recap what I saw from practice. So that's why I came on today to preview it, what I want to see, and some of the news of the day. Let me see how I want to handle this. Still haven't been approached yet about publicly saying that, but let's just say we'll do it without saying it because there's rules to this. There's levels to this. There's a rush hour period that people consider to be rush hour. It's not the official start time on the hour, but let's say at the bottom of the rush hour period, practice starts at 6. There's a rush hour portion that he will speak in that hour at the bottom of that said hour. I think I gave it to you without saying it. I didn't say it. I mean, it's always interesting because it could subject to change, but let's just be real. Practice at 6. You guys know typically practice starts at a certain time after Mr. Dan Campbell speaks. So now you know. Guys, good questions. Thank you. That wheel route by Gibbs was sick. It sure was. It brought the crowd out of its seat and cheered, which was good. And no problem. Ask any questions you guys want. We'll get to a lot of them. Like I said, I figured this much would be a preview and a lot of answering questions. I love that. Maybe we'll make it part of a Q&A as well. I love the fact that you guys are asking these questions. And I'll put it on here. We'll just do a big portion and get through a lot of them, which is great. Thank you guys. You guys come with great questions all the time. Drop your questions. We'll get to a lot of them. And also, too, maybe we'll have a portion where, like I said, get your question read and shout it out. So let's go through here. Some of the early ones I see here. Stephen Baffy gets in, supporter. Doc, I'm appalled and amazed at the hate that Hendon Hooker is getting for a guy who was a rookie last year. Am I wrong to think that he should get at least another year or two to develop? Stephen, here's the thing. If he was 23 years old, no problem. But at 27, 28 years old, you would expect a certain level of experience and comfort and development. So It's NFL not for long. And the backup job is tough. And unfortunately, the reason why that Hendon Hooker is struggling to get acceptance is you can't go out there. Listen, everybody just saw Trey Lance and what he was capable of in a system where he felt a little bit of confidence and what he was able to do to move the football. That's what we're maybe not to that same degree, but we want to see something. And there are challenges because Hendon Hooker was working with the threes. But this is what he showcased last year. And then this year, you'd expect a little bit of growth. You've seen that, getting the ball out quickly. But in the game, he doesn't have that much game experience, and he's not throwing the ball that much in games. So he's going to face a lot of criticism. That position is a position that requires execution and getting after it and showing growth when people see you. And when 6 million people watch the game and they see you not scoring points and not exhibiting that level of, listen, he stands, and the video's on Lines on SI. He stands in front of the media and goes, I rate that a 0 out of 10. You can't have a 0 performance when you practice, and you don't have to have a 10 performance, but can we get a 6? Can we get a solid 6.9, 6.4? Can we get a solid 6 where you make some throws, you run for 40 yards, you get a touchdown, you do something that gives us something to gravitate? So you are right. They are patient. And within the grand scheme of things, I do think he'll be the backup. But when the fans are asked, are you comfortable with Hendon Hooker? The answer is no. I am not comfortable with Hendon Hooker. I think there's better. Not to say that he can't reach those markers and be somebody, but I would go with let's just use logic and common sense, Stephen. Simply, if you're a offense that's predicated on a pocket passer, strong-armed, then I would not have a mobile quarterback. Now it helps to move the pocket and stuff like that, but you're spending a lot of time working to handle the strengths of Jared Goff, who's a traditional pocket passer. So I would look for a backup that is similar. So if something goes down, so the name to me is, and you never wish anybody gets cut, but the name that just pops in my mind is Joe Flacco. If something happens with the Browns and he's a part of the losing, in one of the guys that gets cut, I would get Joe Flacco. You'd feel comfortable. You feel like you read the defense, all those weapons. And for 1 year, I think he would be great. So I just want to pluck somebody from the Browns or someone with a little bit more experience and a little bit more cachet to handle business. But Steven, this is Detroit. This ain't Nantucket soft. We criticize here in Detroit. That's the way it is. You perform. You don't perform, you get booed and criticized. You perform, people wait 5 more minutes before you mess up again. That's just sports. It's tough. It's tough business, but you can't have a 0 performance. 0 performance, no bueno. Not good. Great question, Matt. And I apologize. My phone always goes off when you work in the NFL. There's a lot of people always texting you. So I apologize. I do always have to check it. Hey, Doc, what are the top 2 storylines to watch for this week of practice? I think the first one is going to be, how does the offense look tonight? First team against the defense. DJ Reed had a good practice yesterday in front of the fans. How does J-Mo respond? St. Brown, does the offense look a lot better? And then the second is the interior offensive line depth. Colby Sorsdahl, does he take a stride forward? Moody, continuing his growth. Does Egwakun step up a little bit from the performance that he had in the game? Do the players that maybe were not the best step it up? Now, some of those guys maybe won't see the field as much. I do expect the ones. I want to see continued Jamarco Jones. How does he handle stepping in at the left tackle spot? So I think the biggest storylines is the offense, because the defense is a little bit of ahead. So Goff, how does he look this week? And we'll wrap up Hendon Hooker into all that, making sure that he's ready and mixing into the game. So first and foremost, the top storyline is the offense, making sure that they show some momentum this week, connect, move the ball. And then the other, I would say, okay, I'll think of the second biggest storyline, but another storyline is going to be, how does the team handle if Ennis Rakestraw is going to be gone? Who's going to get maneuvered? Is it Rock Ya-Sin? We'll talk about him. The second biggest storyline, the defensive, interior defensive line depth. I like what I'm seeing so far. Can we get continued growth from Roy Lopez? Anything from Broderick Martin? So those are the biggest two storylines. The biggest, but a lot of things to pay attention to. Can Ian Kennelly, the UDFAs, which I'll talk about, can he continue his strides forward? Can the UDFAs who built up their stock continue their stock? And then another one too, I'm giving you a lot of side stuff, but I gave you the two big ones, one on offense, one on defense. And a little side stuff, Giovanni Manu, how does he continue to grow? Broderick Martin, Colby Sorsdahl. I hope that answers your question. What are you watching for? What intrigues you? A lot of people look at a lot of different things. There's so many things to look at. The rookies, the UDFAs, position battle depth, the safeties is great. So there's so much, but the two biggest, one on offense and one on defense, I gave you. What do you think? Phil gets in. How was Ben Johnson able to take so much credit for the work of Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Saint, Engstrand, Ragnow, on and on? How was that guy able to take all the credit for the offense? He's not taking all the credit. He gets part of the credit. But you're right. The perception is when he leaves from the outside is that he gets the – listen, part of it is the perception that Jared Goff was washed up. Now he's performing, and they're like, oh, who put this together? And also, Ben Johnson gets a certain level of credit for some ability to recall certain plays that work early in the game and set it up, or the ability to set up plays for later in the game. His masterful ability to recall and know where to look. So, and also too, once you are tabbed by Dan Campbell could have picked anybody. He could have went across the whole NFL landscape. He said, no, it's Ben Johnson, and kept him here. So you're right. He's not taking the credit. He's getting the credit because the offense was pretty sweet. And you get Amon-Ra St. Brown, he develops within a season. So he deserves a lot of credit. That's why he got the job. That's why someone gave him a huge raise. But no, you're absolutely right. And so now, Phil, as we continue to joke about Caleb Williams having an awful training camp, we will turn our attention to soundly defeating Ben Johnson's squad and laughing at how many games he's going to lose this year. That's what you get for going to the Bears. Now we also turn our attention to John Morton and Dan Campbell as they continue to work, because one step as a coach is to develop talent. The next step is to continue to grow after those guys leave. I want to see that. And I expect that that's going to happen. So let's credit Dan Campbell more. And let's remind everybody that Ben Johnson made the dumbest decision to go to the Bears. And the goal week 2 is to unload the chamber on the Bears and win 52-10 and to laugh Ben Johnson off the field and sing real loudly. Listen, I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, but it would be music to the Doc's ears if week 2 home opener, I'm getting my final words in and sending it off to Vito and Christian, be like, this is good. Before I walk to the media room to ask Dan questions, or the locker room, to just hear, na, 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 and then just the whole 60,000 people singing, hey, hey, goodbye to Ben Johnson would be amazing. I can picture it in my head. I can picture all 60,000 people in unison cheering a 52-10 win, just singing Ben Johnson out of Detroit. Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be a great opener. Whoop the Bears' ass and boo and send Ben Johnson home with his tail between his legs. That's and unload the chamber. That's the mission. Trippy Gypsy. How did Rock do in his safety looks at practice yesterday? The opportunity is going to present itself because he's a veteran. He can do a lot of different things. The Lions like his versatility. I think he's shown at cornerback that he's got the propensity to handle some things. I do think that, having opportunities just in case, I think he looked okay. But I'm still more comfortable with Avonte Maddox because of the experience. So he's going to grow into that role. But it's just one of those deals where the Lions like to cross-train everybody just in case something happens to Maddox. You got Rock Ya-Sin. And Rock is versatile. He can do a lot of different things. But his time in San Francisco, from when you read from what reporters say, they said that he kind of tailed off a little bit. The 49ers were willing to move on. But so far, so good this camp for him here. So I think that there's a fit and there's an opportunity to get after it. Andrew, shout out to you. What up, Doc? Appreciate the updates. I appreciate you. Thomas, has Colby increased his stock at all after a decent game? Absolutely. Got some second team work. That's what happens. The issue is, I just think that they got to find a spot for him, whether it be right guard, left guard. Find a spot for him and just let him focus on developing at that one spot. I don't know if the versatility train is going to work with him at center, guard, tackle. I just sometimes you got to remember certain guys are slotted for certain things. So right now he's been playing a lot of right. I apologize because the way I write it down, it always goes from left to right. But then the way the positions are described is right to left. So I see him quite a bit next to Mason Miller, 75-63. So he's playing right guard quite a bit. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So when I see the numbers, when 63 is the right guard, that's the first person I see to my left. So it goes typically when I write the numbers. And Christian's always like, John. And so I started writing the description RT, LT, because the way you see it on the field is when they're out there is, and the way we write in the English language is 63-75. And so Christian will then come back, 63 is that left? I'm like, no, use common sense, Christian. It's 63-75 every single day. But to be fair to him, I have to put 63 RT, 75 RG. But you guys get it? 63, 75, 67, 62, and then so forth down the road. 72, 74. So it makes it complicated because he's intuitive. He's like, Mason Miller's at left tackle today? I'm like, no, it's left to right. Figure it out. Save me the text. No, it's not. You know how it is. It's 63-75, right tackle, left tackle, or right guard and right tackle. So it's a fun time with that. I always have a good time with it. Matt gets in. Thanks, Doc. I'm curious about the cornerbacks staying healthy and seeing an efficient offense. John Morton seems like he wants to take chances, and that concerns me that more series will stall out early. Great question, Matt. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you for being part of our community. The question about John Morton and the concern. Listen, you have to take chances deep at times. Yeah, the first month of the season, I expect it to be not as complete of an offense as you guys would like. But remember, there's a lot of early games. There's a long season. So the first thing is maybe we could have some confidence that maybe they'll execute early. Look at the talent level. Look at what they have. J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Tim Patrick, Laporta. But first and foremost, taking deep shots is just a way to open up the defense if they're going to stack the box. Because clearly there's going to be ways that you're going to have to tip and disguise if you're going to run the ball to Gibbs. So first and foremost, taking deep chances, some early 3 and outs is no problem. I think the Lions will have a reliable bend, don't break defense that doesn't give up a lot of touchdowns. But here's the foundation of how I see the early offense. You run the crap out of the ball behind 69 and 70 and 69 and 58. Open some lanes, and then Mahogany as well. Run between the guards and get after it. Get after it. Or run between the tackles if you want to be officially proficient. Run between the tackles, get after it. Open lanes, 73 and 69 will open some lanes. The blocking scheme will be proficient. I see a lot of run plays. That helps things out. Then out of the run packages, you get some play action where Jared Goff is the best in the world. Play action all over the field, and there's going to be a lot of movement of this football. St. Brown will get a lot of receptions, and I would say my confidence level that the offense is very similar and scores a lot of points is very high. Gibbs out of the backfield is great. So, and if you've heard my overall thesis, my opinion overall is that this offense will lead the team, and you need the defense to hold on. Just find a way, patchwork it, bend, don't break. But the 11 starters, if they stay healthy, are pretty proficient. They'll do the job. Bend, don't break. The NFL doesn't let you play defense. But Aiden will be disruptive at times, and the games will be very similar, tight, competitive. But the Lions, given the weapons that they have, should be able to move the football. So the concerns about John Morton, I think, are overblown, but they should be there until we see if on the field what happens. But Dan Campbell will be part of it. But pay attention. I think, listen, I don't want to put out stuff, but, I'm a narrative driver. I'm not a narrative follower. Put in the comments, How many weeks before Dan Campbell strips John Morton of play calling? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? After Baltimore, when Baltimore runs up and down the field and scores 60 points. Okay, that was, the SOL guy. How long? Doc puts it out there. How long does John Morton hold on to play calling duties before Dan strips it? I'm going to say 15 games. 1 year. I'm kidding. But that's coming. One bad game. Dan Campbell should take away John Morton's duties. Let him stay up in the booth. I think I've been covering this too long. You can kind of see the future when things don't go right away. Maybe it'll be you, Matt. You'll be in the comments. Strip John Morton of his play calling duties. And I got to be like, well, it's still early. But I get what you're saying. Well, who's better than Dan Campbell calling plays? Let's hope John. Let's stay on the positive train. Let's hope that John Morton doesn't flop and make Matt come in the comments of the Lone Wolves podcast and declare that it's time to strip his duties. Thanks, Matt, for your question. Always great stuff. Ha! Trippy Gypsy, 2 weeks. You guys are great. Oh, Kelly, that's not accurate. I think if you are able to surmise, he started on the third team. Now, okay. I didn't read that article, so I can't speak to what was said. But let's just put it this way: he's on the third team and just got with the second team yesterday. What is happening factually is they're putting him at a lot of different spots. The other aspect that maybe they wanted to not talk about is he's got to execute at those spots. Good step, good first performance, Kelly. Good game against the Chargers. Now you got to continue it. But right now, most notably, he's on a lot of people's 53-man roster, watch list, bubble watch list, and things like that. Yeah, you can throw Rock Ya-Sin at safety, but he's not going to be a starter there. And that's, I think, one of my biggest complaints with the Lions is I'd rather identify one or two strengths, and not all guards can play center, not all centers can play guard, not all guards can play tackle. Identify what they're the best at and highlight that. But at this point in time, Colby's fighting for a job. And let's hope week 3 of training camp brings him more success because he's an easy guy to root for. Good dude. A lot of good energy. But no. That's not accurate in any way, shape, or form if you read the others. Dan Gamble. Doc, what's the over-under for Rakestraw games played this year? Might not be high. I talked about it earlier. If you want to rewind it, Terrion posted something. It's greater later. So what does that mean? I posted my opinion that shouldn't have been posted. So we'll see. We shall see. But some news is coming. We'll see how it plays out. And so we'll talk about what that means. Do they go out and get one of the free agents that's out there that had success in 2023, but last year wasn't good? There's a guy out there that his name just keeps circling in these, because I like to read a lot of the best free agents available kind of stuff. So I'm curious to see how it shakes out. What do they do if Ennis Rakestraw is down for a little bit of time? What does that mean for what's going on? What do you guys think? John says 4.5. Might be less. Good question so far. I'll keep it going. Another 10, 15 minutes with the questions before my last couple thoughts about previews and the UDFAs. I'll just go through the article that Christian wrote, which is really good. A lot of good content every day. Lions on SI, daily recaps and Lions on SI content here streaming live. Thank you guys for your super chats. The support has been great. One of you guys left a super chat to say, hey, just turn on the CC, turn on the closed captioning. I said, okay, if someone's going to tip you, thank you, and give you a super thanks. That means a lot. Sling Pizza, how good? And make sure hit the like. If you're one of the people in this now, like it. That's how we share it. That's how I can keep doing it. Keep the lights on, keep the gas in the tank to get to Allen Park. Because Allen Park is, and if it means anything to you guys, Allen Park is about 40 miles from my home, which takes about 40 minutes normally as a drive. But if there's any traffic on the 9-4 or anybody flips their car, it's an hour. But I write it off. But man, a lot of gas miles. Help me keep gas in the car. Like, subscribe, comment, share, just like in every video. And please confirm that I actually pushed the right CC button so you guys can get the closed captioning. It means a lot when people say, hey, my sister who's hard of hearing can read and follow what you're saying by your microphone and not eating the microphone and being able to read lips. That means a lot. But please tell me if I messed it up. I want to give everybody what they want. How good has golf looked? So-so. Some good practices, some not. The last practice Sunday, a couple of missed throws, deep connections, not exactly there, but this is training camp. That's what it's for. But he's got the connection heavily with Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But remember, the reason why golf hasn't looked good is more because the defensive backs have just been balling out. DJ Reed, Brian Branch, Terrion Arnold, when he was healthy, they came to play. They're not messing around, and they're competitive every rep, not just one rep, every rep. And they want to chirp and they want to ball. So I would grade golf B-. That's one of the narratives I want to see is get that up to an A this week. Get after it. But now listen, I'm a guy that's open to think about everything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to start any narratives, but my job is to always just reveal what's in my head. Do I think right now, as you Sling Pizza said, hey, I think I saw a photo of golf with his kid. That would indicate what? A quick jaunt to California? That stuff's not easy. Unless that beautiful scene on the beach was Michigan. I ain't seen no beach in Michigan look like that. I could be wrong. I haven't dived. The one thing I don't do a lot of is I don't browse the social media of a lot of the players. I don't have time for that. You guys do a great job, and it comes to me. And I'm so thankful for you guys in the DMs to say, hey, Doc, look at this. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Thank you. I personally think, but I don't have time to go on Instagram. When you go on Instagram, there's a lot more things that I like than the players, what they're posting on social media, if you know what I mean. Instagram has a lot of beautiful scenery and a lot of fun food, foodies that are out there doing great stuff. IG for me is happiness. It's not to scour and look for what the social media of the players are doing at all. So you guys do a great job because you bring it to me. So, but I did see a photo, didn't look at it too much. I'm like, oh, that's cute. But now as you post this, does having a kid impact golf right now? Probably on some level. You got to think about your kid, your family. You're distracted. Like, hey, your kid might not be in town. Any effort, even if it's like 2% effort thinking about your family is less than what you're putting to football. And football, in my opinion, you need to be crazily 185% all in to even have a chance to win. And sometimes family matters, sleep, distractions, they come in. Now, to the degree it's impacting them, not a lot, but it's there probably. Think about it. He just had a kid. Does that mean normally one day he's like, man, just one normal thought entering his mind. Man, I'd rather be out in Cali. Man, I'd love to be hanging with my kid. Man, this is work. Yeah, he's normal. He's a human being. But if he's jumping from California to Detroit a couple times, that's no matter how fast or if he's flying, however he's getting here. Am I wrong? Did I see that photo? I saw it. It was cute. One of the super fans is like, oh, look at Jared. You know, I like to stick more to the on the field stuff. But this off the social media of the players is interesting to some degree. But that's just not where I lie at 46 years old, is to be browsing the social media of the players. I should browse and be like, hey, you know, I have twice slid in the DMs of the players and be like, hey, you want to come on my podcast? They never answer. So that's why I stopped doing it. You know, it'd be nice if one time be like, Doc goes, hey, you want to come on my podcast? It's really popular. No. Or they just be like, they just ignore it. Or they're like, this is the 40th account that's asked me to come on their podcast. But now I have avenues to get the interviews in a much more professional way than DMing people. Do you think there's a chance our defense is even better than the offense this year? No. No, not at all. It's an offensive league. The rules state you score points, you move the ball. Proficient is what I'm looking for. One of my favorites in the whole wide world with a weird name. It's because I can identify your weird name. FFFTGGHTYUJU. How is the offense and defense going to play with new coordinators? And actually, that's the biggest question that everybody asks. FFFTG. They're going to play great. They're going to win 10, 11 games, and they're going to get after it. They're going to play great and win a lot of games and get to the postseason, but I'm not sure that it's a championship team right now. So, a lot of questions coming in, which is very good. And I'll highlight that part of it. Austin gets in, great. Joey 2 times with a rebuttal, which is good. We're set with our starting DBs. Who are we benching for Asante Samuel? So let's talk about it because I think I did a banner here for it. I'll just go back to the support here. Ennis Rakestraw, if it's a long-term thing. All right. There's a couple players here via Bleacher Report that they have that I think I would consider. Asante Samuel, I'm not sure one of them. I think he's still a free agent. These two, I think I checked before and confirmed that they are. So I'll share who could come in as a project if it is. But look, Ennis is there. Rock Ya-Sin. Does a Maurice Norris or somebody else take the job and get slot over? We'll see. They're counting on it from somebody within, but I'm not sure that it'll happen. So let's take a look here at the best free agents available in a recent article by Bleacher Report. The name that just pops up quite a bit is Rasul Douglas. Coming off of a down year with the Bills. He's a free agent that's intriguing. Allowed an opposing passer rating of 122 in coverage. That's likely why he remains unsigned. But in 2023, 38.6 passer rating. 14 interceptions between 2021 and 23 with the Bills, Green Bay Packers. He's had an offer, but has reportedly turned it down, maybe waiting for a better one. So the logical landing spots that Rasul Douglas has from Bleacher Report is the Bengals and Miami Dolphins. What do you guys think? Rasul Douglas? I don't know about Asante Samuel. What do you guys think? The other player that's written about here is Mike Hilton. It says here Douglas might be the top target for cornerback needy teams seeking help, but those seeking a defensive back with inside-out versatility should be eyeing Mike Hilton. And I'll just double confirm because I did it real fast before here and make sure that he didn't sign anywhere. So, so he's still a free agent. What do you guys think? Rasul Douglas or Mike Hilton? Those are the two names that just pop up in a lot of articles. Mike Hilton. He appeared in 16 games with the Bengals in 2024, 10 starts, 23rd among all cornerbacks, 31. Do you guys like that idea? Am I wrong? Let me know. What do you guys think? Anybody that would be there? I could be wrong, like I said. See? Hilton signed with the Dolphins. There you go. Off the table. See, the Dolphins are so irrelevant that doesn't even hit Google top right away. Jack Jones and Mike Hilton signed with Miami. Gosh darn it. Okay. So then the other guys, Rasul Douglas. But like I said, externally, I didn't even give it too much thought in regards to serious options that they're going to go to. I think they like internally. Who could replace Ennis Rakestraw if the injury is severe? Let me see here. My search. If If I type in Mike Hilton, just to confirm what you said, Dolphins. See, they're so irrelevant that nobody wrote a relevant article about. Oh, yep, he's here. Football for the Dolphins. Let me see, make sure about Rasul Douglas. But that came up as a search when I put in Mike Hilton, Dolphins. Rasul Douglas. Okay, no team affiliation. So one option, other two. 50%, not bad. But you can always trade for him. Me and my guy Alan will talk. Hey, what do we need to get Mike Hilton here? He'll be like, first round pick. So Rasul Douglas, do you guys want anybody externally that you say, hey, he's out there? A lot of people were throwing Asante Samuel's name in there. Like I said, I just don't think because of Brad Holmes, the way he keeps pounding into our heads, external free agents are tough. I don't look anymore. What's inside? What's inside the building? The UDFAs, which I'm going to cover. Is Mark Brunell a good QB coach? No, yeah, of course he is. He's better than that. I think he's got full comfort and support of Jared Goff, and I think he's definitely somebody that stuck around and has definitely been somebody to support the team and to get after it. Exactly, the Ronin. I think they fill internally. What do you guys think? Anybody else? If Ennis Rakestraw, how do they handle it? That'll be the mission tonight. Is to that's a good mission for me. Because this week, what have I been focused on? The depth charts, the players on the roster, the UDFAs, the podcast. Now tonight, I will go through and update the list of free agents at every position, so that if the Lions drop one, because I've been giving a lot of the free agent stuff to Christian, where I handle the day-to-day on the roster stuff. I'll look at, update, and understand every position, who's the top guy there. That's probably a story I'll probably, thank you. That probably will be a story I do for Wednesday or Thursday. The top free agent, every position that Lions could get. Free. Thank you, guys. Sorry for the botch. Like I said, external free agents, at this point, not at the highest. It's the 6th highest priority, but something I should know. And sorry, because my phone's blowing up too. And it's not the agents telling me about Ennis. They won't answer. I'm trying. Nick P gets in. Lions cornerbacks, Arnold, Reed, Amik, Yasin, Maddox, a mix of cornerback safety and Dorsey when healthy. Yeah. Like I said, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed that it's just a training camp thing, maybe a half-season thing, but it ain't looking like that. Based on, what do you guys take? How do you interpret it's greater later? Second half of the year? What do you interpret it's greater later to mean? All right, my last 10 minutes here, I wanted to review, if you haven't checked out, a lot of you guys, actually, let me hit this as a review. Tonight, there's a practice, 6 o'clock. We will have live updates. To refresh, we will have live updates. We'll have a story coming out around 4 or 5 where you can, if you're not in tune with X, you can go to our website and you can follow along. Every 10 minutes, we'll have what period it's in, key plays, or you can follow on X at Detroit Podcast. When fans are there, it's free for all. And you guys know, I think I can take credit for being one of the more active posters during live practice. You know what period it's in, some key plays. You knew when Jahmyr Gibbs hit that catch against Alex first on X. So be in the know. That's my mission, is to go crazy when I'm reporting out there, which is tweeting, documenting the plays, figuring out what's going on, blogging, and getting information to you guys. Thank you for your support at Detroit Podcast. Let me know if there's anything that I should post a little bit more of. But I don't give full details, just enough to get you interested so that you can go to the site for the full detail of what goes on with the observations. I think you guys like it. You enjoy it. And I appreciate that effort and the stuff that happens when it goes down. So the preview, I want to see some competitive periods. I always, O-line, D-line, the tackling drill. Hopefully this opportunity to see some red zone stuff. I think Dan likes to run red zone at night. That'll be fun for the fans. Who gets those red zone plays? I want to see Hendon Hooker do some things. I want to see less of Kyle Allen. I want to see Kyle Allen not participating in practice. Kyle, today we're going to need you to do scout teamwork. Just tell Hendon what he needs to do. Thanks. But I don't get to throw. No. But he'll be out there doing some third team. I would presume, maybe they flip it again. Cal Allen will be taking the second team and be like, oh, my goodness. What do you guys want to see from practice tonight? Yeah, Nick, that's what will be the first question asked. Or, if it's about the practice, somebody will ask, well, what do you want to see tonight? And some advancement, but that will be asked. And Joey, you give the perspective that a lot of people had was, well, he wasn't out there on the field anyway. So what are you really missing? Rakestraw was a backup anyway. I'm not panicking about trying to replace a backup in August. That was an opinion that was heavily shared, and it's right to be shared. So we'll see. What do you guys want to see from practice? I'm excited to share it. My last 10 minutes here. If you guys want anything identified quickly, hit a super chat. We'll get right to it. But again, competitive periods. I want to see the development of some continued growth. Let's hopefully of Giovanni Manu building upon his good practice and his good practice before the Chargers game. The Chargers game was good. And I want to see him win some one-on-ones. And finally, we did a story today. We will update this weekend, a little bit of content update. We'll update the 53-man roster projections. We'll do a rookie review. We'll give the full coverage of an analysis of the team after the Falcons game this weekend. But right now, a lot of questions I always get is, how are the UDFAs doing? So I'm going to tell you. Christian did a wonderful, masterful job today and is worthy of your attention. So we'll give him some credit and we'll just go through it here. And then you get the last 5 minutes, get your questions in. Super chats get highlighted fast. And then my hour will be up for today. Thank you guys for your engagement, strong engagement, more than, and also too humbly from the bottom of all the Lions on SI staff, those that keep the lights on, the tech people that help me out to get to 3,000 subscribers in 6 months. When we were only doing one podcast a week or two is wild. Thank you for those that are engaged at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you for your questions, your super chats. It's amazing. And like always, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification tab so that every time we go on, you get that bell. Boom, Doc's there. You don't miss out. But if you don't catch it live, you can always go back and replay it. There's an hour of time that if you're driving, going on a walk, you'll get some information from an insider. And that's my job, is to get the info and then share it to you in a reasonable, entertaining way. And so far, so good. The first 3,000 have gotten in, and I think that you've gotten your value with daily updates about the Lions directly from the source every single day since July 20th. Every single day. Not a part-time video guy, not a part-time podcaster. Full-time podcaster covering the Detroit Lions from the inside. Not part-time, full-time. I think you guys can tell. But also, too, you guys know I'm high on myself. How am I doing? Do you like the coverage? Anything else you want it tailored to? I am an open sponge to tailor coverage. The number one thing that's successful, my free advice of the day, tailor your coverage to the people who read it. So I don't tell people, hey, read. I don't tell people, this is what I'm delivering to you. Just take it. I always take advice. Hey, Doc, I want to read about this. If you want to read about something, leave it in the comments. I will find a way to see it. My job has always been a servant of the people. Absolutely. Thank you, Detroit fan man. I'm a servant of the people. That's it. That's what keeps me successful. That's the secret to having a good podcast and not having it canceled and growth is consistency, reliability, access to the person doing the show, and trust. And thankfully, you guys have given me that trust over the last 15 years and 7 with On SI. And now we're just going to keep growing it. Could the Doc do a daily show? Would somebody want the Doc to do a daily show about all of Detroit sports? There's some people maybe interested. You never know. Stay tuned. Doc's taking a lot of meetings. My phone is blowing up because of you guys. But the reason is I tailor the coverage to you guys. What you want, I deliver. Period. Hands down, full stop. If there's anything you'd like to see different, let me know. I'm open book. And if there's something I say that you disagree with, was my Jared Goff comment out of pocket? Hey, say, Doc, that's not the vibe you should be putting out there. Well, how do I know? Because when I had my first kid, I can share just real fast to divert. When I had my first kid, I was in La La Land, starting a psychology practice, working on a podcast. It literally, like, it was a fog. I remember it specifically. That was like May. I had my first kid in May of 2012, May of 2012, May, June, July. I don't remember a single thing that summer. Didn't sleep, just was like a robot, and broadcasting and running a practice and consulting and going, like, it was wild. It was wild. So now the grind's a little easier for the DOC. I've made it more manageable with a healthy work-life balance. And now I got to get back to work because I'm liking the life stuff with the lifestyle I've created. I like the life stuff. I got to do more of the work so I can identify who's a free agent, who's not. Chalk that one up to hyper-focusing on. My job really is to hyper-focus on the 53-man, the 90-man roster. That's right. My expertise. The rest of the NFL, I finished last place in fantasy. That's how much I know about the rest of the NFL at the moment. Because when you locked into the team, you're hyper-focused on everything that happens with the roster. Let me share this here. Christian did a great job. Check it out. He did a great job in regards to the stock watch. Stock up. Zach Horton might be your fullback, guys. Showing his versatility throughout the start of camp. Reps at fullback and tight end. Indiana product will need to continue to showcase he's a good run blocker, but absolutely Zach Horton is somebody that is getting a lot of attention. Zach Horton, stock up. Keep that name in your forefront. Ian Kennelly, guys, what'd you think of his spear? He put himself a little bit ahead of Lauren Strickland this week. Stock up, Ian Kennelly. The Eisenhower product. Unfortunately, Eisenhower was our rival when I went to East Detroit, or now known as East Point, but I always call it East Detroit. I went to East Detroit. So if you guys always forget when you say, oh, national media, no. The national media found a local guy to cover the Lions. I'm local. John Macaroon only rep the Detroit teams, period, and Michigan State. You're not going to see me wearing any New York hats. I'm not wearing any college teams outside of here. I'm not taking pictures with Tyrese Halliburton and, sharing it. I support Detroit, period. Local guy, Grand Valley State product, got a lot of attention. Dan Campbell said, certainly he's going to get more reps this week. He's going to get special teams and just see where he goes with it. That's going to be his avenue. Keith Cooper doing some things. Now, a little bit quiet game, but he's winning reps and he's doing things. Jackson Meeks is giving Lovett all he can handle. Jackson Meeks, only one target in the Hall of Fame game. But in practice, he's making plays. He's targeted, and he's getting after it. Tyson Russell. Pay attention to him. Down on the depth chart, has a way to go. Who needs to do more? I think the adjustment that the growth from college to the NFL has been a little bit tough for Mason. He is struggling at times with Ahmed Hassanin and struggling to win reps and did not score well or grade well against the Chargers. So he's got work to do. Clearly, Jacoby Keeney-James has to rebound this week after one of the worst special teams play you're ever going to see. That's not the way that you are coached to receive the football. Stock down, Jacoby Keeney-James. Kyle Robichaud. He's been sidelined for an extended period of time with an injury, and they got another running back. So his stock is currently down. He's got more work to do. So I'll go through it one more time, top to bottom. And then I'll take your last set of questions before I get out of here. Stock up. Zach Horton, Ian Kennelly, Keith Cooper, Jackson Meeks, Tyson Russell. Needs work. Mason Miller's got to get that. He's got a good size to him. Very versatile, can play a lot of different spots, but he's getting baptized at left tackle. It's tough. Tough spot. Tough adjustment. Jacoby Keeney-James, you can't make special teams error, and Kyle Robichaud. You can check it out right now. That article lives live on Detroit Lions on SI. So that's where it's at. All right. We hit the hour mark. Thank you guys so much. Again, last set of questions here. I'm going to go through them and maybe 5-10 minutes, and we'll call it a day for today. That's the biggest question, David, right? Ian Kennelly could easily be claimed off waivers if the Lions expose him to waivers. Yeah, no doubt. That's going to be a problem. The guys that get waived this year have a chance to be products that will have an opportunity to get seen elsewhere. Last minute questions, guys. We got about 5 minutes left. Sling Pizza. What's the doc's favorite football food? Man, lately there's some competition at the chicken wing spot, man. Wingstop is good. Teriyaki chicken, their sauces are good. I'm a fan. My nephew loves it. My nephew, or AKA FFFT, if that's him. I think it is. I got to pinpoint if I can identify. My nephews, man, I'm jealous. 14 years old, can eat like 50 wings and lose 3 pounds. Those orders are ridiculous. All right, Uncle, we're going to watch some sports. Okay, I want 10 lemon pepper, dry. I want 10 mild, 10 Cajun. And my family, for some reason, is addicted to that corn at Wingstop. The spicy corn, man, that stuff hurts the doc. But, man, I could, those wings taste good. Wings and beer. What's your guys' wing spot? Is it Wingstop? There's so many of them out there. Where is it? Detroit Wing Company's good too. DWC. There's a spot I think they set up in East Point at 9 and Gratiot. If that was there when I'd be 400 pounds if that was there when I was in high school. Is that still there? DWC 9 and Gratiot. I know there's a bunch of them all over. Steven gets in. Dan Campbell already said the joint practices are for the ones. I would not expect to see many starters until game 2 of the preseason. At all. At all. Don't see starters at all. I would be shocked. Man, Phil, that's a tough question. My favorite Lebanese food is Mama. Mama's home cooking. Can't offend her like that. I just came from there before here. Got great falafel, sauce. Oh, my God. Good. Why do you think I'm happy? Mama takes care of her son, her Habibi. Favorite spot? There's a lot of good ones. Lashish on Hall Road's okay. Does the job. Lebanese Grill on Hall Road does the job. I'm a big fan of Dearborn. El Amir, man, best fattoush in the city. I could crush that fattoush all day. Bowls of it with the fried bread. Man. Not going to lie. Amu Sami shawarma, it hits the spot. Bucharest is good, but they got to, I think, just up the flavor a little bit. There's others that season their chicken a little differently that I prefer. Bucharest does a good job, but that's not the spot you'd go to. Dearborn is the spot. El Amir, highly recommend them. Amu Sami's shawarma. Started in the truck. I see his social media, and I tried his 2 locations. Never have a bad time with the lemon pepper grilled with the extra garlic. I'm like, listen, boss, I'm local. I'm Lebanese, Habibi. Don't skimp on the garlic. Extra. And don't charge me. Extra garlic. Okay. So let me know. Where are you guys getting at? Hamido's always good. I've tried that based on recommendations. Sling Pizza, what game? Baltimore. The revenge games. Baltimore, Washington, Philly. I'm going to probably do the East Coast swing. Probably not going to go to Green Bay. I have the full resources to go anywhere, but I want to save it for the playoffs. I went to Canton. I definitely, Baltimore Monday might be a game you fly into. I want to drive a lot of these places, but you know, the 3-4 hour drive was a little more difficult, you know, because I'm active. I want to do stuff. I have the active brain, you know, but I'm a driver. I love driving. It's my favorite thing to do. And flying is crazy. I don't like it in any capacity. Baltimore, I want to see main event heavyweights. And I want to see, because everyone keeps messaging me in the comments, can Calvin Shepard stop Lamar Jackson? Earn your stripes, because I'm saying no at the very moment, because nobody can. Stop Lamar. That's the mission. QB Spy. Or I'm going to actually research more what he said about QB Spy and why he thinks it doesn't work, because I don't know if the Lions have the athletic enough guys to do it. Enough. Love it. Sheesh Garden. Shout him out in the comments. I'll leave it here for a second. Shout him out in the comments. Where's your favorite place to get Arabic food? Help out the others, because not a lot of, I have the advantage of getting it right from the source. Best around, homemade family. And what warmed my heart, if you guys know Tom Mazaway, friend of the podcast and really friend of the whole project, he came into my office here, sat across from me, sat in this spot where I'm talking now, and I sat the other way. And he had a picture with Ryan Armani, and he eats kibinai. He eats it raw, which is great. Kibinai, grape leaves, chicken shawarma, rice, all that my mom makes, all of it. Her kibinai is the best. Just like every mom says, her kibinai is amazing. Or, as you guys would say, the steak tartare. Absolutely amazing. The kibinai. Absolutely. Grown up on kibinai. Maybe that's what warped my brain. The kibinai. Luckily, I believe it's true. It might not be, but it's probably a folktale. Kibinai in ara. It kills the germs. Ask any other reporters, do they eat raw meat? They're probably like, what? Raw meat. Kibinai, baby. Never had worms, never had any infection, never had anything. My mom has never gotten me sick cooking for me, ever once in the history of her cooking. And we eat kibinai 5, 6, 7 times a year. You know, she's making it, holidays. Kibinai, man. I saw that plate and I was like, next time invite me, Tom. But I was like, I get that every day. That's just anytime I want. I can say, Mom, hit me up with the kibbe. Man, with the onions and the olive oil. I should bring that and lay that out in front of everybody. You know what? My last day, if Dan Campbell's there, I'm going to bring a big tray of raw kibinai and just unleash it, unwrap it, and like a little mini tray like this big. And then right when he starts talking, just grab the pita bread, grab a big thing of it and eat it. And he'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating raw meat. Say it loud into the microphone. I'm eating raw meat. Dan, want some? No, you can't have any. It's all for me. More kibbe for me, less for you. Not sharing it. Everyone be like, what the look I used to get from people when I would tell them about the fact that I eat raw. I mean, we don't call it raw meat. It's kibinai. I eat the kibinai, baby. Delicious. And I'm blessed I got the taste for it. No, I'm not. I'm saying philosophically, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm just saying, you know, because I never eat there like that to that degree. But I'm saying, metaphorically, if I'm ready to go out, I'm going to go out and be like, I eat raw meat, people. Be like, damn, Doc, I didn't know you were that tough. I thought you were a soft ass. Little do they know. Little do they know. All right. Great stream. Got you guys set the table. Night practice. Set the tone at Detroit Podcast. You know where the news will come from. I'm one of your sources. I am trusted, no matter what anybody tells you, because you can't be around for 15 years if you're not trusted. At Detroit Podcast on X, Lions on SI, you'll get all the information you need. Thanks for the time today. Let's get after it. Fun Monday. Doing it nightly. Doing it at night. And then we'll recap what happened tomorrow morning. 10-ish or so. If it's 10:30, give me a break. I'll be sleeping a little bit because, you know, tonight we got to, Work starts at 9 with all the coverage. Gathering the info is one thing. And then I got to type it up. 10:30-ish. And I do follow the tradition of most Middle Easterns. If we got a 10 o'clock appointment, Doc's showing up 10:15, 10:16, Arab time. That's normal time. So luckily, I've been showing up extra early for these media sessions, because if I was normal, I'd show up for Dan's 8 o'clock media session every morning at 8:15. I show up there at 7:30. I leave early. The website, on any video, if you ever forget it, it scrolls across the bottom. si.com/NFL/Lions. You guys have been crushing the website every single day. Numbers through the roof. Among the best of the NFL reporters. And I tell them. What do you think I'm going to tell? You think I don't tell the guys below me? Step it up. I'm a podcaster. Step it up. They're like, yeah, Doc. Yeah. You're in Detroit. Great market. No, it's me. I'll take the credit. Step it up. We need a team full of 32. And we have a great relationship. All 32 of us. A lot of crap talking between these boys. Man, Phil. I just want to be in the group. That's all I wanted. Phil gets in. I can't end on anything than that. It's the best Lions content in the state. And with that, Doc's out. Much appreciated. I'm humbly looking forward to covering the Lions on Monday. And let's get after it. Peace.